is up, Chiefs Kingdom gang? We are back. It's been a long time, but what better time to get back into the swing of things other than after a stinging loss to the Chargers in the season opener of 2025. So guys, hang on tight because I've got a great show for you, and I am going to give you 3 big reasons, undeniable reasons why Chiefs Kingdom should still believe in a Super Bowl run this year. It's not all lost hope here. We're not losing hope. We got to remember that last year we started the season in the same way when we fell to the Detroit Lions. My Lions beating my Chiefs. That was a tough loss. And what did we do? We went all the way to the Super Bowl. And of course, we got knocked out by the dadgum Philadelphia Eagles. But hey, I think we can make another run this year. And after I report all of my findings, I think you are going to agree. So let's step right in, and we're going to first talk about what happened in this game. Why did we have such an ugly first half? What was going on? What were the negatives for the Chiefs? I'm going to break that down. How come we saw such greatness out of the Chargers? I'm going to break down exactly where they excelled, and then we're going to jump into the 3 big reasons. And then I'll wrap it up with an injury report, and then we're going to compare last season to this season and what I expect the passing game to be this season, and it's going to be good. So watch all the way to the end. You want to definitely see what I have to say about that. All right, so let's get this started. What happened? Man, I got a lot of notes on this, so bear with me as I scroll through my notes. Okay, so of course, we noticed that the Chargers defense dominated the Chiefs on the third down. So they stifled the Chiefs' early rhythm with their outstanding defensive play led by the coordinator, Jesse Minter. Okay, so he was like exceptional in disrupting the Chiefs' offense, especially on the third downs. I don't think they had a single third down conversion in the whole first half. So Kansas City, they were ranked second in the NFL in 2024 with a 48.7 percentage on third down conversions. And then they turn around and lay an egg and go 0 for 7 on third downs in the first half of this game. And then they finished 5 for 14. That was 35.7%. At least that was better than the big 0 that they posted for the first half. So a critical moment came when linebacker Dalen Henley sacked Patrick Mahomes in the red zone and forced a field goal instead of taking that touchdown. That was big. So the Chargers secondary, featuring a versatile safety trio of Derwin James, Elijah Molden, and Alohi Gilman, they covered the Chiefs receivers like glue. I mean, they just stuck on them. It was amazing. So they kind of shut down our defensive attack, and that our offensive attack rather. And then we also had Tarheeb Still, Dante Jackson, Cam Hart, Benjamin St. Just to match Kansas City's passing attack. Okay, so they were deep, all right? They had the starters, they had the backups, everybody was all over us. And so that aggressive and varied coverage scheme, they kept on mixing it up. That kind of limited Patrick Mahomes' options and forcing those incompletions and the punts early in the game. Okay, so the impact on those third downs, the Chargers' ability to shut down third down conversions was pivotal, okay? So, for example, on Kansas City's opening drive, this was sad. And I tell you what, I don't know what to think about this, and we're going to talk about it more. But on the opening drive, we didn't get through 3 plays, and we have an injury. So we get Patrick Mahomes dropping back for a pass, and what happens? But Travis Kelce and our guy, the speediest speed demon in the entire NFL, Mr. Worthy, they run right into each other. And then that leads to a punt. So I think that he dislocated a shoulder, and we were hoping he'd come back later on the game, but he did not. And so then that started the string of the third down failures, which included a dropped pass by Hollywood Brown. I mean, I'm so glad that he's back. Maybe he's shaking off a little bit of rust with being in a real game situation as the season just starts. And then we also had that overthrown pass to Tyquan Thornton. Now, there was a positive note. We're going to get into that later. But Patty overthrew him, and that could have made the difference in the game. So that kept the Chiefs' offense stagnant. And they only racked up 92 yards on the first 27 plays. So the defensive pressure allowed the Chargers to get to that 13-6 halftime lead. And that set the tone for the rest of the game. But there is hope. What's the hope for the Chiefs fans? Well, despite the third down struggles, the Chiefs converted 5 of 5 third downs in the second half, which shows some serious resilience. All right, so Mahomes' ability to find that rhythm came later on, which included a 12-yard underhand pass in Patrick Mahomes' form. He was going down. He underhands the pass, scoops up the ball, scooped it up to Juju Smith-Schuster on that 3rd and 5. And we kept that drive going. So that was amazing. He was just right up close to that line of scrimmage, but he got that off without an illegal forward pass. So with a full season to refine the execution, and maybe with Worthy returning. I mean, it might be 3-4 weeks, and it could be season injuring. We don't know. But the Chiefs can overcome those early miscues, especially against the less disciplined defenses. I think we were playing one of the best defenses in the NFL. All right, well, let's talk about the Chargers. Why they excel, why they did so well. Well, number one, it was Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert's aerial attack exposed the Chiefs' secondary weaknesses. All right, so the Chargers offense dominated. The defense set the tone, and Herbert just overwhelmed our secondary. I mean, we didn't have an answer for it. So he throws for what? 318 yards, 3 freaking touchdowns. He had 25 out of 34 passes completed. And he was targeting Quentin Johnson. He had 5 for 79 and 2 touchdowns. He had Keenan Allen, 7 catches for 68 yards and a touchdown. And we couldn't stop that. The dynamic duo there. So the Chiefs secondary, which is missing safety Justin Reed and weakened by offseason losses, struggled to contain Herbert. All right. And so Herbert averaged over 9 yards per drop back. I mean, you can't expect to get through a game with that W when you're giving up 9 yards on average per pass. So the key third down conversions, like the 9-yard pass to Allen on that 3rd and 7, and that 19-yard scramble on 3rd and 14 at the end of the game where Justin Herbert slides. I got to hand it to him. That was quite a play, and it just kind of showcased his complete athletic prowess. I mean, the guy has a freak of nature. He's like 10 foot tall, has a rifle arm, and he's very, very smart, has a good head on his shoulders. So the Chargers shifted to a pass-heavy attack, all right, under the offensive coordinator, Greg Roman, which was contrary to the 2024 run-first identity, all right? So that kind of caught us off guard. We were not expecting that. We didn't know what to expect with the new regime in charge for the Chargers. All right, so next, the Chiefs' defensive struggles. Let's zone in on that. So the Chiefs' pass rush was kind of on vacation there. They were asleep. We had 1 sack by George Karlaftis. All right, we had linebacker Drew Tranquil that added 2 sacks in the second half via blitzes. Those were kind of nice. But Chris Jones, he was double-teamed all night long. And so with him being double-teamed and the edge rushers, which included George Karlaftis, Charles Omenihu, and Mike Dana, being kind of ineffective, that gave Herbert what he needed to pick apart those safeties and the cornerbacks. So you had Jordan Hicks, you had Chamari Connor, who gave up key completions and just made it all the tougher for us to control that game. All right, but there's hope. What's the hope? Here you go. The Chiefs defense, typically a strength under Steve Spagnuolo. We have faith in Spags. All right, so they did show some flashes of potential with rookie Ashton Gillott. Gelati. Is it Gelat or Gelati? So he was providing a lot of energy in the limited snaps that he had. So the secondary struggle were exacerbated by Reed not being there. We're missing that guy. But his return could stabilize the defensive unit. And additionally, the Chiefs' ability to rally in the second half, cutting that lead down to 27-21 with that 27-yard field goal shows that they can adjust defensively. All right, so with 9 straight AFC titles, this early loss, it's a learning opportunity for a unit that definitely can improve as we go up against these future opponents. Okay, so let's talk about the self-inflicted errors that just kind of amplified the Chargers' defensive success and the discipline issues on the offensive side, okay? So the Chiefs' very uncharacteristic mistakes were a major factor in this loss. So they committed 7 first-half penalties for 48 yards, which included multiple false starts by none other than offensive lineman Jawan Taylor that we came to know very well last year, where he was he had the most penalties of any offensive lineman in the NFL, I think, or any player, I believe. And so that kind of screwed a lot of our drives and led to those third and long situations that we just could not get out of. And then, of course, like I mentioned before, we had that drop pass by Hollywood Brown while he's knocking off the rust. And then we had the failure to get upfield on a third down play forced by an unnecessary fourth down attempt, while the offense managed only 28 yards on the first 3 drives. Now, kicker Harrison Butker, he missed that PAT. Let's hope that's the only one of the year. All right, and then we muffed on that 2-point conversion to catch up. It turned out it didn't make any difference. We lost by more than 3, but still, you want to make those things. Now, when they rushed on the field and Butker pulled off, what was it, like a 59-yard field goal at the end of that first half? That was a glimmer of hope. But the errors gave the Chargers defense favorable field position and momentum pretty much throughout that whole game, which amplified their third down dominance and our lack of third down dominance. All right, so the Chargers' opportunistic play, all right? They capitalized on all the miscues with Herbert's efficiency, all right? For example, he had that 11-play, 74-yard touchdown drive in the fourth quarter, which just kind of punished the Chiefs. It punished them bad for their mistakes. And rookie running back Omarion Hampton, he had that 4-yard gain and had the 4th and 1 on the Chargers 35, which kind of showed their willingness to just go at the Chiefs and not be stopped, okay? So the Chargers, 7 of 13 third down conversion rate compared to the Chiefs, who were 5 of 14. They had the advantage. It wasn't that big of a gap, but they had the advantage, and that highlighted their ability to sustain the drives while the Chiefs kind of faltered. Okay, but there's hope. What's the hope? Here it is. The Chiefs' errors are fixable, all right? And Andy Reid's teams are known for polishing off the mistakes in September and getting it corrected. And that's done by meticulous preparation. So the second half, offense surged, all right, on 5 of 5 on the third downs and 258 passing yards, okay? And there were statement plays like that 49-yard bomb to Hollywood Brown on the 4th and 7. That shows that the team has potential when it comes to getting in a pinch and having that deep ball game, which I think is back. We're going to talk about that later. Now, also with Rashee Rice returning in Week 7, the offense is going to have their most dynamic playmaker, and then that will reduce the reliance on having to run this whole offense error-free, without the stupid false starts and drop balls. Okay, so the Xavier Worthy injury impact. Losing our guy, our speed demon, to a shoulder injury on the third freaking play of the game, well, that kind of disrupted the Chiefs' plan to return to their explosive roots. Now, it didn't erase it completely, but it did throw a wrench in the plan. And then, of course, you turn around, you got Rashee Rice suspended, you got Jalen Royals out for Week 1 with that knee, but he's going to be back. That kind of forced Mahomes to rely on Hollywood Brown, who had a total of 10 catches for 99 yards. And round of applause for Hollywood Brown. I think that's definitely given some hope there, okay? I was predicting probably a 90-yard game out of Hollywood Brown, and he nearly clipped 100 yards, okay? And Travis Kelce had 2 catches for 47 and 1 touchdown. And that, with losing the speed demon, that kind of limited the ability to stretch the field early on. But then we came back later. We had Juju Smith-Schuster's 12-yard touchdown catch on that spectacular Mahomes throw. And then we had 2 deep balls that made a big, big, big difference and showed that we can still stretch the field like we used to way back in the Cheetah days. All right, so the Chargers, their aggressive strategy, all right, Jim Harbaugh's influence, it was very evident. And the Chargers never trailed through the whole game, and they answered every Chiefs score with a touchdown drive, refusing to play conservatively. I mean, they just kept the gas pedal down, and they didn't back up at all. They didn't go into prevent defense or anything like that. They said, hey, let's just keep on and roll on. All right, so that added to our inability to get that offense balanced off. All right, but with all that being said, now that we know what happened, the low spots, the high spots, the mistakes, I'm going to tell you why we really shouldn't worry, and then I'm going to give you the 3 big reasons, okay? So we really don't have to worry because Patrick Mahomes, he played with Patty Mahomes' grit. It's his playmaking that gave them the chance to come back. He put it on his shoulders, and he almost pulled it off. We didn't get it, but he still had a good game. He went 24 for 39, 258 yards, and a touchdown, all right? And then the big thing, his scrambling ability. What did he have, like 57 yards? I didn't write that down. So at one point, he's scrambling on the right side, and he decides to lower his shoulder and nail one of the D-backs for the Chargers. That was kind of scary. He did slide on a few of those other runs, but they did very well whenever the middle of the field would come open, and you'd see that big blank spot. Patty Mahomes is taking off. So that was kind of nice. All right, so his historical dominance against the Chargers, he's got like 3,200 career yards against them, 27 touchdowns out of the 12 games, and the ability to perform under pressure with a 90.4 QBR on third downs last year in 2024. This indicates that this loss is just a minor setback, all right? Chalk it up to just a random loss. But with the favorable schedule that we have coming ahead after we knock heads with the Eagles, I think it's going to be looking pretty good. And then we get Rashee Rice back in Week 7 against the Raiders. Okay, so now let's get to the most important part of the video and talk about the 3 positive reasons why we still have a Super Bowl run capable team. And the first reason is Hollywood Brown. Oh yeah, Hollywood Brown's emergence as a reliable target signals a bright passing future despite this 27-21 loss. So Hollywood Brown, he did step up significantly, catching 10 out of 16 for that 99 yards, which included the critical 49-yard reception on a 4th down. So the deep ball is officially back. And we also had that other deep ball to Thornton. So the deep ball is back. And that happened without the speed demon and without Rashee Rice being on the field. So despite the Xavier Worthy injury and the early exit, I think Brown has shown his ability to handle a higher target rate as a wide receiver 1 until we get Rashee Rice back. So his speed and the chemistry with Mahomes, I mean, it was evident. It was there. So they worked hard in the offseason, and now it's showing up as what we saw in this game was pretty successful between those two. So I think they can get the explosiveness back, and for the first time since the exit of the Cheetah, I think the deep ball is definitely back. It is back. So we can look forward to that. Now, why does this give us hope? Well, with Brown nearly going for 100 yards in a game against a tough defense, the Chargers have a tough defense. It proves that we've got a legit playmaker to lean on early in the offseason, okay? And that kind of eases the concerns about depth and keeps Patrick Mahomes' confidence very high. All right, now, reason number 2 is very obvious if you haven't figured it out yet. It's the Week 7 return of Rashee Rice. If we can survive the first 6 games, I think we're going to be good. So Rashee Rice comes back in game number 7 against the Raiders, and that's going to supercharge the Chiefs' offense. Okay, so his 6-game suspension, we're just going to have to suffer through that. And then when he comes back against the Raiders, I think that we're going to do fantastic. So last year, I believe Rice had 79 catches for 938 yards and 7 touchdowns. Okay, that was not last year. That was actually 2023 on his rookie year. Okay, so he was on par for the breakout in 2024 when we had the injury just 4 games in. That kind of sucked. But now he's back. We've at least got the suspension behind us. We know that he's got the 6 games. No more waiting. So this is a big positive. So when Rice rejoins Brown and maybe Worthy being back, that's what we're supposed to have, the big 3 along with Travis Kelce. Then the receiving corps is going to be at full strength, and that's going to give Mahomes the weapons he needs to dominate in the season's second half. So we're going to look forward to that second half. All right, now reason number 3, it is none other than the second half performance of our man, Patrick Mahomes. That's right. Mahomes' second half heroics shows that he still has the resilience that we need for those comebacks. I mean, we had, a 17-game streak where when we're in a 1-score game difference situation and we're down, they've won all those games. Sadly, we broke the streak tonight, but he still showed why he had the 17-game streak. So even though we started slow, we had 57 yards on 17 passes in the first half. Patty finishes with 258, and he had the 37-yard touchdown pass to Kelce. He had the 57 yards rushing with a touchdown. He had the 5-for-5 third down conversion rate in the second half, and the highlight plays like the 12-yard pass to Juju Smith-Schuster, which reaffirms his elite status, Patty's elite status, rather. So we have a 19-4 September record under Andy Reid, and that's a positive. We normally win in September, so we can look forward to getting past this loss and racking up 3 more wins for the rest of the month, because that's just what we do as the Chiefs. So this is just an anomaly. That's it. Mahomes is back, and he's going to dominate. And most of all, the deep pass, the deep ball, is officially back. Now, we know we had the deep ball with our speed demon that got injured after he smacked into Travis Kelce, which is very sad. We know we have that, but we have deep threat capabilities with Hollywood Brown back on the field. We've got a new guy, Thornton, on the field that shows that he has that deep ball capability, and I think that Jalen Royals has the deep ball capability, and of course we know that Rashee Rice, when he comes back, he has a deep threat. And don't forget about Travis Kelce. I mean, a 37-yard touchdown pass. When he scrambles out there, he might not be a speed demon, but he knows how to get open. And when he gets open deep down into the field, yes, he is also a deep pass threat. So that is officially back. With the deep ball, I think we can definitely make a Super Bowl run. Now, let's run through the injury report, and then we'll look at a brief comparison between last season and this season on the passing game, because I really made a bad prediction last year on the last video. So with the injuries, of course, we've got Xavier Worthy, the shoulder. I think he dislocated it, and we don't know what's going to happen yet. We're waiting for the x-ray results to come back. It's either going to be like a 4-week deal, and at worst case, we might lose him for the whole season. That's very sad. Now, Jalen Royals missed week 1 with that tendonitis in the knee. He's been out since August 18th, but he should be back potentially for week 2. Other key players that are looking healthy, and I'm crossing my fingers that they stay that way, is Mahomes, Brown, Kelce, Isaiah Pacheco. The offense is looking good. Hopefully we can stay injury-free on the defense. We had 2 injuries on the defense, but those 2 players made it back into the game, so it was not that Serious. All right. So, as I mentioned, I made a bad prediction. I thought last year was going to be the year we returned to the deep ball threat that it was going to be. The wide receivers just dropping bombs on defenses, and it didn't come out that way. So last year, comparing to last year, the passing attack, it sucked. It was lackluster. We were averaging 22.2 points per game, and that was down from 30.1 from the 2018 to 2022 era. We were 15th total in offense, kind of mid. We had Patrick Mahomes posting career lows of 3,928 yards and 26 touchdowns. We had the injury to Rice, the knee. We had the injury to Brown with the shoulder. We had Kelsey's decline, and we had very, very poor pass protection. So there were 36 regular season sacks. It was open season on Patrick Mahomes, and that definitely stifled our explosiveness. Now, in 2025, despite this week 1 loss, Brown's performance, 10 catches, 99 yards, and the promise of Rice's return signals a potential return to the deep threat form where we were dropping bombs on the NFL. Okay, so the revamped offensive line with Josh Simmons and Kingsley Suamataia and Mahomes. Preseason deep throwing, he had 11.6 air yards per attempt versus 6.8 in 2024. That was terrible. We went to dink and dunk last year. Now it's going to be dink, dunk, and drop the bomb this year. So we should see that average shoot up. And I think that all of the cards are there with this deep receivers core that our dynamic passing attack is going to be back, especially in week 7 when we get Rashee Rice back. Now I want you to post in the comments. Post in the comments below and let me know the answer to these questions. Number 1, do you think that the loss was an anomaly, just like the Lions' home loss to start the 2024 season? Question number 2, do you think the deep ball, the deep threat is back for the 2025 season where Mahomes goes back to the stats that we are used to? And number 3, do you think that the receivers core is deep enough that we are not going to skip a beat with the injury to our speed demon and while we are waiting on Rashee Rice? Let me know, and then like, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Check the notification bell so you don't miss another video, because I'm going to be coming back after every game, possibly before each game, so we can talk about the Chiefs. That's all I got for this one. This is Carlton, and I am out.